boxing. Man in boxing, led the Flair Cops. Shout out to Goodfellas Sports TV. Woo!
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out. All right, man. We back. Goodfellas Sports TV and Javier Fortuna's manager, Sampson. Was it Lewkowicz? Sampson Boxing. You know, he's credited for discovering Manny Pacquiao, working with Sergio Martinez. He also has unified junior middleweight title holder Jason Rosario, who just scored a big upset over J-Rock for the IBF and Super WBA title, I believe it is. And he also has David Benavidez. Said that Eddie Hearn ain't about to pull no fast move with him. And Eddie Hearn has been talking about doing Luke Campbell and Devin Haney. And he said, nope, Fortuna got to get his shot versus Luke. Luke can't get a shot until he fight Javier Fortuna. So let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And yeah, Devin said he got 1 or 2 more fights at 35. So he had to take an interim fight. Obviously, Ryan Garcia doesn't have an opponent. Devin Haney doesn't have an opponent. So why not make that fight right? Like I told you guys, it don't make sense. Just like they say financially, Earl and Terrence don't make sense right now. Financially, that fight doesn't make sense. So Devin probably going to be fighting another no-name guy unless they could work something out where Fortuna step aside, Fortuna sign some papers where he'll fight the winner. But you got to remember this whole story has been crazy because the story is that Fortuna was the mandatory. They came to an agreement before a purse bid. And the DAZN didn't approve of the money that Eddie was giving Fortuna. So then it was proceeded to go to purse bid. Then I think Devin Haney got hurt and all that. And then they talk about Luke and Fortuna for the interim belt. Or no, for the real belt. And Devin was champion in recess. And then when Devin was champion in recess, the corona happened. He got better. They reinstated him. So then they ordered Javier and Luke Campbell. Now, I don't understand how Luke Campbell was getting a shot. He just lost to Vasily Lomachenko. He lost. So why is he getting an immediate shot? It wasn't a close fight. He lost. He got dominated. I ain't gonna say dominated. It was competitive, but he lost. So why should Javier Fortuna have to give up his mandatory shot and fight Luke Campbell? And Devin Haney don't have nobody to fight. Javier Fortuna should fight Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? And Luke Campbell should have to fight somebody to get his name to be a mandatory. So it absolutely makes no sense, you know, for Devin Haney to have to sit here take an interim bout when he can just fight his mandatory in Javier Fortuna. Why is the WBC, and I'm telling you, WBC do the people of color like that. The Cubans, the Dominicans, the blacks, they do us like that. Why should Luke Campbell get a position? I have Javier Fortuna lost the same way to Lomachenko. Would they give Javier Fortuna a title eliminator versus Luke Campbell? Absolutely not. You know, and Eddie Hearn is trying to, you know, pull a fast move, but he got to open his pocketbook. But we know that the DAZN may not have that money right now. That's why they're looking for a cheaper opponent for Canelo Alvarez. We know that. We know that they didn't want to pay Javier Fortuna the money that Eddie was going to pay him to come over to fight Devin on his own. We know that. So money even more tighter. But like I said before, Fortuna Luke Campbell is not a matchup I'm a frown upon. If we get that, you know, wow, you know, we fighting without audience or with limited audience. I think that fight will be a solid fight. Like I told you guys, I favor Fortuna. Luke Campbell just ain't got no dog in him. Fortuna should have some dog in him. He should hold and hit him behind the head and hit him on the hip and just get really rough with him. And Fortuna and Luke Campbell he just timid. You know what I'm saying? He just too soft in the sport. He just don't have no dog in him. He got the tools. He got the height. He got the strength. He got the size. He got the power. If you get time Fortuna, he got it good. But that movement and that slickness that Fortuna come with, and that awkwardness that he come with, you know, that's just the remedy for those upright type fighters. And people say, well, you know, he got to give versus Granados. He was beating Granados' ass until they started taking points for holding. And we already know how they do for Hispanics in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Do I got to bring up Pernell Whitaker and Chavez senior fights? You know, do I got to continue to keep bringing up all these fights that they favor, the Hispanic people in, so, hey, like I said before, man, I want to see Fortuna versus Devin Haney. That would have been a great test. Not saying Fortuna is a world beater, the greatest fighter in the world, but just that would have been a solid test. This is a dude who gave Granado some issues. He gave Robert Jr. some issues. You know what I'm saying? So it would have been a solid opponent. We know about Luke Campbell. He never held a world title. Not to my knowledge. Javier Fortuna has. You know what I'm saying? We know that Tank didn't want to fight Javier Fortuna when they was fighting on the same card last year. So that lets you know something, man. Do I think Devin Haney ducking Fortuna? No. But some people thought he was possibly ducking Fortuna. And didn't want that fight. That's a tough mandatory. That's a high risk, low reward type fight. What do you get for being Fortuna? People say, well, Jezreel Corrales, I think, knocked out Fortuna or something like that. That's what people gonna say. He lost to him. He lost. Fortuna, a tough guy. It's just his style is awkward. He lead with his head. He lead with a lot of awkward punches. So you got to be on code. You got to be able to, punch with Fortuna. You got to be able to manhandle him, and you got to be able to cut the ring off. You got to be able to be on your toes. You got to keep your jab popping and going. You got to keep your hands up. You know what I'm saying? If you don't keep your hands up, he will clock you with some shit. He will re-injure that Devin Haney shoulder. But, to get to the business side of it, Eddie Hearn is trying to, basically cut the man out. Well, we should just make Luke and Devin. That was the fight that we were supposed to have before Bob Arum put his 2 cents in here. And Lomachenko was a unified champion. He fought for a vacant belt. How can that happen when y'all don't rank other alphabet champions? So Eddie Hearn is just trying to do what Bob Arum did to him, but he ain't got that clout. And right now he ain't got that bag behind him. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. He don't have that clout. He don't have that bag. Bob got clout. And they should do an investigation into that. And that's what I was saying on the live stream about fighters, man. They need to get together and boycott the WBC, man. And a lot of the sanctions belt, but a lot of these dudes getting done bold. A lot of them getting done bold. Ain't no way Fortuna should have to fight a title eliminator when Luke Campbell just lost for a title shot. He should have to reset, go down in the rankings, build himself back up, 1 or 2 fights, and then he come back and get a title shot. Straight up and down. How's Lomachenko fighting with two belts and fighting for a vacant belt? Why is that not being done more consistently? Why everybody that get elevated to franchise champion, a black fighter get hurt? A black fighter missed the opportunity. Jamal Charlo, Devin Haney. If Fury beat Wilder in the trilogy, they talking about upgrading him to a super champion, and Devin Haney don't get his shot. When is a black fighter going to benefit from the franchise champion? When is a black fighter going to benefit from the WBC? They threaten Deontay Wilder to strip him over some comments every time. While Tyson Fury out here talking about coke and strippers and do they? No. Meanwhile, Canelo, failing drug tests, and they defending Canelo failing drug tests. I'm telling y'all, man, people talk about the NFL players being weak and not standing next to Kaepernick and not standing up for their money and good pay and good benefits. The boxing niggas is just right there with them. Real talk, the boxing people right there with him. Floyd Mayweather got all the power to create his own belt and cut the WBC out the game and get back to boxing. You don't want to do it. To lead the black fighters to a better way. Out of all the injustice and racism that he's endured in boxing, you know what I'm saying? He don't want to make change. He don't want to make no changes. He don't want to help the black boxers get out of this abyss. He holding back more black boxers than you guys know. Real talk. This ain't that on TMT or Mayweather Promotions. So, for Devin, I think Fortuna would be a better win because he ain't coming off no loss. Is he coming off a loss? I don't know where Fortuna comes. I ain't seen Fortuna in a minute. But we know Luke Campbell coming off a loss. But people think Luke can beat Devin Haney. Put your bread up. Devin Haney, if they do fight, Devin Haney gonna strip that boy his masculinity. I wouldn't be surprised if Devin got to stop it. So, like I said, man, Sampson Tulowitzki, whatever his name is, he said he ain't stepping aside. They got to fight Fortuna, Luke Campbell. They agreed to it, and Eddie ain't about to pull no fast moves. So, at the end of the day, I got to agree with him. Let Fortuna and Campbell fight. May the best man win. I'm favoring Javier Fortuna to get the win. Luke Campbell, I think Luke Campbell is a more technical fighter, but I think Fortuna's speed, and if he can make the weight, his speed and his awkwardness is just going to dominate Luke Campbell, especially if it's in America. And I think that fight was supposed to originally fall on the Hooker and Progress undercard, so maybe they remake that card and keep that fight on that card. That'd be an interesting fight. So we'll see. They both have plenty of time to recover and get healthy, stay in shape. We'll see when they make the fight, but or if they can pay Javier Fortuna to step aside. But don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you got business questions, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App, PayPal, in the description. The best way to donate is share the video. Keep sharing. And shout out to David who made a donation on PayPal. I want to give a shout out. Appreciate the love. We gone.